So I went and saw Neighbors 2, Sorority Rising last night, and I thought I would do a quick review of that film. So, first and foremost, I'm just going to say it, I did not like this film one bit. I just found myself completely bored from the beginning to end with this film. I didn't find any of it funny, and I just sat there, like just moaning. I think if I was to pinpoint the problem, it would have been that this film didn't have a good antagonist. You kind of look at it from the point of view of a protagonist. That's the person who has goals throughout the film and they're trying to accomplish them. The antagonist is the person who gets in the way. So Seth Rogen and his wife, you think they would be the protagonist. They have a house, they want to sell it. But they're in escrow, which means they have a 30-day waiting period where the buyer can just decide, no, I'm not going to buy this house because I found some problem with it. And that problem, of course, was the sorority sisters living next door at wild parties and just making life unbearable. So that would make the sorority girls the antagonists. But you know what? They weren't. I mean, when I was coming into this film, I thought it would be fun. I had not seen the first one, so that didn't inform my opinion whatsoever. And I figured, okay, so this is going to be like this Neighbors 1, where they had these douchey frat boys who are wild and crazy. But they're going to do it with the sorority girls. They're going to be wild and crazy. I don't know. They're going to have bikini contests. They're going to be drunk. One of them, the lead one's going to be like this super bitch, and then the rest of them are going to be ditzy and stupid. But that's not that wasn't the sorority girls in this thing. They were decent girls, nice girls. They didn't want to join a sorority on campus because they were so boring. They didn't party, and they couldn't stand going to frat parties because the guys there were douchey and the vibe was rapey. That's a line from the film, and it's like you feel for those characters. So they're also protagonists. So it's protagonist versus protagonist. You've got Seth Rogen and his wife want to sell the house. That's their goal, and then these sorority girls, they want to have their own sorority, be a sisterhood and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, there's no real conflict there, even though they try to make it into a conflict where it's the two sides are going up against one another. It's like, it felt like each one of these, the two sides belonged in a different movie. Like with Seth Rogen and the wife, I've already told you the sorority girls I thought they would be going up against. But with the sorority girls, I figured that they should be facing up against some like extremely snooty neighbors, like WASP types, or like an elitist sorority sisters, rival house, or chauvinist frat boys. But instead, you go there going up against Seth Rogen and his wife, and you want them to sell the house. And I already knew how the conflict was going to be resolved before the end of the film. It's like, oh, so Seth Rogen and them, they now have two houses. And the sorority girls, they're always worried about paying rent and then getting kicked out of that house. They're going to move into Seth Rogen's house. And that's kind of how they ended it. It's not giving too many spoilers. And in between, it's just, none of the jokes landed with me. I thought they relied too much on over-analysis of things, where like somebody talked, like Seth Rogen and his wife talking about how they're terrible parents, and they keep mentioning all these things that they did, leaving the kid there, letting the kid get into this, and it just goes on and on and on. And it's like, wrap it up. Let's get to the next scene. There were a few moments I laughed. One of them was the scene where they've already got into it with the sorority girls going back and forth, and all of a sudden there's a scene where Seth Rogen and his wife are upstairs and he sees something hit the window. And then more things hit the window. I thought it was steaks at first. It was used tampons. And it was like, oh God, they went there. That was gross. And I think I laughed at that scene, but like the rest of the movie, it's just so boring. It bored me out of my mind. Like I said, they needed one of the sides to just be a bunch of assholes, and you hated them, and you wanted them to lose. Yeah. I wouldn't. It wasn't that bad a movie. I wouldn't say don't go and see it, because there were people in the theater who were laughing, so I think people go and see it. But for me, it was a waste of money. So, how would I rate this? Should I get five? Should I do 5 stars or thumbs up, thumb down? Well, I'm going to do my own thing. Focus on what was important. How much money I spent to see this movie and how much I thought of that money that I spent that it was worth it. So, let's see. I think I spent $6.50 to see this movie, and I think it was worth 50 cents of that $6.50. Because overall, it was just boring and just dragged on. But there were a few chuckles here and there with, the used tampon scene. Wow, wow, wow. Splat, splat, splat. That was worth 50 cents. And that's all the movie was worth.